Eric, this is Tom. You still ready to go for a meeting here with us? Oh, excellent. Yes. Yes, we're just going to, like you mentioned earlier, just the personnel item, and then you can hang up from there. I'm going to try not to cut you off.
Speaker?
Okay, I'll put you on the speakerphone.
Okay.
How's that, Eric? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
I can hang this up.
Okay, can you still hear us?
Kind of.
Okay, I'll speak loud.
All right, well, we'll call the meeting to order. Any questions or comments on the agenda, or is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please read the question.
It is moved to approve the agenda.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item is personnel appointment. Mr. Ryder?
Thank you, and I'll speak loud for Eric. With the previous candidate deciding not to take the previous or the position of the curriculum director, had conversations with Tom and Shelley, and we talked about maybe looking at an interim position. And so we went out, and we believe there are still good people out there. And if we only look at a year, we think we can probably bring some additional good people on. And I think that's kind of what happened. And we had several people who applied. I think the total this last time was an additional 12. A couple of others reapplied. And we held interviews yesterday morning. We interviewed 3 candidates, and at the end of the 3 interviews, the committee of 6, 7 of us had really a unanimous vote. We all thought this candidate was extremely knowledgeable, great experiences, and that is Joy Prothero. Joy has served as a curriculum director and associate superintendent at Pella in the mid-90s. She has served as she has served at Central College as well as recently at William Penn in the educational departments, and has served as an adjunct instructor. Her knowledge of current educational information is extremely good because she serves also as the president of the Great Prairie AEA board, as well as on the state AEA board. So her educational background is outstanding, and I don't know this to be exactly true, but I think she was very excited that by taking this job she could probably step off one or both of those boards. So it might mean a little less time for her at nights and on weekends and other things. So anyway, I'd like to make a recommendation that we hire Joy Prothero as our interim curriculum director for the 2016-2017 year. Since we are a little late in the game, we looked at contract the number of days, and we're looking at about a 230-day contract instead of 260, and at an amount of $85,000, which per diem was very similar to the last recommendation of the individual who we were going to hire. As well as she does not need insurance, so there is a cost savings there. And so that is my recommendation to you, the board.
I would like to move we appoint Joy Prothero as the interim director of curriculum instruction for $85,000, and the contract is recommended.
I second.
There's a second. I do have a question or two first, real quick one. As far as this being an interim position, will this is certain time in the future where this will be posted for future for this position to be more long-term for others that could apply? And as far as supervisory of this position, is that something only that you will be supervising, or what's the structure for that as well?
Well, it's my intent, because of its interim position, that I should be able to cover most of the needs as far as evaluation, and then we would look to, it's my thought that we would then look to post that last week of February, 1st of March, which will then allows 2.5 weeks to get people in. That's an opportunity or an opportune time for people who are out looking for new positions to move up. And Joy, at that time, also, we talked to every single candidate, and we said to each one, feel free to reapply in the spring, and again, we're going to look to do that sometime late February, early March, and see what happens there.
Right.
But this contract will go to the end of June, and then we also had a conversation about, depending on whether or not a new person is in fact hired for this position, we talked about maybe a 4 or 5 additional days in July from Joy, who then could help transition this new person in. So those are opportunities. So because it's interim, I think there should be no issues, and when we get through the year, I'll have to work carefully with Joy, but she's a wealth of knowledge. I think every administrator there that was on the committee felt that we could learn an awful lot from Joy and all of her experiences.
I am really pleased that our interim advertisement got qualified candidates like what we had.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel very, very good, especially since she's been a curriculum director at Pella, which I think is a pretty good system. I've talked about them, and I think she's going to be a great person in that position.
Yep, agreed.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second, so Chad, please read the question.
Please vote to accept the superintendent's recommendation of the appointment of Joy Prothero as interim curriculum director on a non-continuing 230-day contract at a salary rate of $85,000 effective immediately.
All those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay.
I'm abstaining.
And Sharma's abstaining. Motion carries. Eric, I'll hang up the phone now. Is that good with you?
That sounds good with me.
Thank you.
Bye,
Goodbye.
Eric.
All right, next item is update regarding involvement.
Do we know what's his father's issue, or do we know, or can't say, or?
I do know.
Okay.
How about I tell
Talk to
you
you after.
a little bit later.
Okay.
Update regarding involvement in the Oskaloosa Recreation and Child Care Facility.
Yeah, we just had a few minutes, and I thought since we were going to meet tonight, just kind of give a brief update of where we're at. A week or so ago, week and a half ago, I think Chad and myself, Tim Oswald, as well as Greg Life, met with the city manager and individuals, and we're sitting down having some conversations about this 28E on how the school as well as the city can sit down and come up with some sort of an agreement that we're going to be able to move forward in the completion of the new YMCA. It's almost for certain that the city is going to own this facility. The school still has committed funds to it, but only those funds that we are legally allowed to commit. We can't know that number at this point because part of the trouble will be we're going to redesign this facility, and whether or not that commitment, and I think we committed up to $7.5 million, but when they redesign this new YMCA, Child Care Center, and the preschool, we'll be in a situation where maybe after the redesign, we're only going to be able to afford up to $6.5 million or $7 million. So that still is in question. So as far as what our commitment is financially, is still up in the air. I did reaffirm with them, though, that the school is still wanting to move forward, and as soon as we see those new additional dollars and what that amount might be, then we need to sit back down. I think the big question is, on their part, is what type of ongoing operations and maintenance will the school continue to provide? And that's where we kind of got to be careful. And it's not that we won't and can't provide some, but again, we can only provide operation and maintenance dollars towards the educational side as well as the pool side. And I don't want them to think that the school is going to be a partner with them and help subsidize and provide them extra money for a larger percentage or share of the overall operations. And I think that's kind of where we've got to be able to come to terms and find out what those dollar amounts are. So we're still looking at the same location. Probably going to be out by the elementary school on that large green spot. I think it's on Levine Green Street. We talked about sidewalks. We're talking about parking lots. We're talking about we can help provide a percentage of all of that area or of all of those items within the project. So I think probably the biggest stumbling block is to what extent is the city's a little cautious on an endowment, how much money can be placed in an endowment, how much could the school help provide and put money into that endowment for dollars down the road. Understand, if the pool, which could be a $6.5 or $7 million expense, if that pool 10 years down the road has a major problem, where's that money going to come to fix that? Well, they'd like to have an endowment, whether it's $2 million or $1.5 million. But how much would the school then be willing to help put towards maintenance of that? So as Chad and I and Tim, and we called Ron Peeler last week, took a lot of notes, and I think we're looking at another session probably the next week and a half to 2 weeks, because we have talked about maybe getting together and continuing our conversation. So I know 15 years ago, the school sat down with the community, or that group, they were able to work out our current structure of the 2 cents coming to the school and the 1 cent going back, or once the bonds are paid. And that's kind of where we're at this particular point. The current agreement ends December 30th, 31 days in December, I guess, 31 days, December 31st of this year. And so we're getting close to making that final payment to the city, and we'll be free and clear. The hope is that we can jump right into this new one, and it is, but it's not been rough sailing. It's just that we got to make sure we're on the same page. Now we're pushing their group and the architectural firm to kind of come up with some numbers and some plans, and then I think we can really start to get in, dig deep with that information.
When you say numbers and plans, that's to fit within the budget of a school, city-only funded project.
Yeah, and again, we're looking somewhere in that $18 million range. And the school, again, 6.5 to 7, 7.5 at the most, and then the city basically is picking up the rest. So whatever they come up with, we'll look at the plan one more time, see what the school's portion of that would be. Then we can take a look at all the other things. Operation maintenance, we could look at doing something on a yearly basis. We currently do. We give the YMCA, I think, $5,000 a year for our teams to go and practice at the YMCA. I think this would be structured a little differently, because since we helped build that portion of it, we would probably make sure that for 6 months of the year, for 4 hours a day, that's off limits. It's ours. So we've got some provisions in that contract that we want to have. But I just want to let you know that we haven't decided anything yet. The 28's still out there. We're still working on it, and that maintenance operations is really kind of maybe a sticking point at this point.
All I've read about after the vote was we were told originally right here at this table that original $25 million project was a bare bones project. We got to have it. We got to have that. We've done the studies. We got to have this. And then I read in the newspaper that the Y director left. We have a new Y director. And now we've built YMCA's for $11 million. Well, how come the first one was $20 million or $18 million? So I really have some concerns, and I could very easily vote with Eric and drop us out of this temporarily. But I'm not to that point yet. But I really want to be involved with this redesign and the replans of this project, because this building right there is my project. This is my project. The dorms at Penn are my project. The Musco Tech Center is my project. The PAC is my project. And I do have lots of experience with architects, and I have fired architects. I personally have seen an architect get fired on a project. And there comes a point that we have to sit down and say, if that was a $25 million project, and now we're going to build something for 18, how come my part of this project don't go to $5 million?
Right.
And I mean, it's time for a design, an economic design, because I know over here, my first project, the color of that roof over there cost this district $180,000 extra because it was a certain brown roof. It wasn't a standard roof. It was a strange roof. $180,000 extra to have that particular color roof. An architect wrote it in there. And if we're gonna spend our school taxpayer dollars, which I'm certainly in favor of doing for early childhood to help our student achievement when we send them out the door at the end. But I'm not for letting an architect spend $1 million extra for the same project. And since we're in redesign, hey, I want to be a part of that.
And part of the
That's a good idea.
redesign, yeah, and part of the thing that they've done in the past, with the new director who's come in, who's worked with YMCA for a long, long time, there's an entity out there that coexists with them. It's called GROW, and I don't know what the GROW acronym stands for, but it is an organization that helps communities help build these YMCAs, and they do have, in some sense, some cookie cutter models out there that they can come in and say, we know this is exactly what it is. And so this GROW does offer, because they are affiliated with YMCA, some actual free services and some other things. So they're going to work carefully with this GROW organization to help. I don't want to say this, it's a cookie cutter, hey, we've done this in 5 other places, we know exactly what it's going to cost. But I think that's kind of how they're trying to reduce that.
And I don't want to say I don't care about the why, but I care about the why, but I am really concerned about the school part of that.
Exactly.
And the millions
Exactly.
of dollars we're going to
Right,
spend.
right. And as I told them, I said, again, they have to understand, we don't have home rule, we don't have a lot of flexibility. The law basically says, under Dillon, hey, we have this authority to spend this amount of money on these particular things, and again, we can't simply form an agreement to help pay you extra money to help subsidize you guys running this thing, and or trying to shift a few extra dollars their way. Can't be legally done. So
And we
they
do need to
understand
make sure
that.
it meets our needs, right?
We do.
So,
It's our needs. It's what
we
our-
should be involved in
We need to
that,
be
that, I
involved.
agree.
And the thing of it is, I just get the idea that, we were told it's bare bones, and now our bare bones is 12 million, or 12 million for that, 6 million for us, 18 million. Well, is it back to bare bones now, or we still got the fluff and everything?
Well, I
mean,
think
I go,
I think they've reduced the square footage. I mean, that's one of the things they're going to manage, reducing a lot of square footage. So, yeah.
well, I mean, the worst story is the recreation pool's gone, and
That's what I was gonna
Is
ask,
that-
one of
Yeah,
the
part of
pools
the-
is gone.
Yeah.
One of the pools gone? Okay.
Yeah, the recreation pool probably will be seeing a bye-bye. And maybe
so, I
some-
mean, if that's the case, then we have to make sure in the 2080 agreement that our school needs are covered by the pool and not,
Exactly.
well, you can't have it because of we gotta have an open pool for recreation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta make sure we cover our needs.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
So,
We're having those conversations, and it's.
well, I would
it's
like
gonna
to
take
be,
us-
I mean, I'm on this committee, but I
Right.
would really want to be involved with this. when
Well,
we
what
get
I
into
will
the
do is I'll let
redesign.
Mike and the mayor know that when they have their architectural firm, whoever they choose, because it's not necessarily the same group that
It's
they
not
did
gonna be
last time.
Cohen?
They're gonna probably look at a new one coming in, that we have some people in our.
So I think I'd like to
school
be
that
on
would
the
be a part of that.
2080 agreement also.
Okay. Do that, absolutely. That's all I've got.
Good. Any other questions, comments?
Joy and I will get to, she's gonna get to work, well, actually. I
When will
invited her
she
to SAI,
start?
I don't know.
She
She
said
started
Probably work
tomorrow?
today.
but she's been working already,
Yeah, I'm sure she
Okay.
has.
Okay,
been reading, doing lots of.
this meeting's adjourned, thank you.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Oh, and